Boro are good, they're very good. Sheffield United and Burnley have been a cut above everybody else. They face the other 9 of the current top 10 across just 11 games. 6 of Boro's next 7 opponents are 12th placed currently or lower. Last night it was 2nd versus 3rd up at the top of the Championship. Sheffield United versus Boro. The Blades had home advantage and a 10-point lead going into the game, but it was an impressive 3-1 win from Boro, who came from behind to record what could turn out to be a big victory in the automatic promotion race. With the gap closing up just a little bit, here's my take on whether Boro might be joining the automatic promotion race. A good starting point for this would be a video I made 7 weeks ago entitled, "Can Anyone Catch Burnley and Sheffield United?" At that point, the top 2 were 11 points clear of 3rd place, with nobody yet standing out in that chasing pack. What's happened since then? Well, at the top, Burnley were 4 games into a winning streak that we now know would eventually stretch to a 10-game winning streak, ending only this midweek with that draw against Watford. The promotion gap for Burnley has grown from 11 points with a game in hand to 15 points with a game in hand. The points projection is still over 100 for the Claret. So let's go out on a real limb here and assume Burnley fans, apologies, not going to be part of this conversation. The real story, and a big part of this conversation this midweek, is Middlesbrough. Michael Carrick's impact has been big, but going to Bramall Lane and beating the Blades makes quite the statement, doesn't it? In the early days under Carrick, it was fairly reasonable to say, and I was saying it myself, good squad, underachieving, a little bit of competence, and up the table they'll go. This feels like more than that though, doesn't it? More than an underperforming squad merely getting closer to its potential. There's the unleashing of Akpom, who's now streaking away at the top of the scorers charts. There's the arrival of Archer, now stretching teams right at the front end. There's Carrick's cool, calm demeanour, just like he had as a player actually. Not to mention the 12 wins in the last 15 EFL matches. So, Boro are good, they're very good, but that wasn't the question, was it? The question is, have they joined the automatic promotion race? And here's the problem for Boro. Sheffield United are also very good. When we look into that 7-point swing in Boro's favour since the turn of the year, 2 things for me pop out. Firstly, Boro have been near faultless with 7 wins in 8. They are right at their ceiling and they have played 1 game more during that time. Secondly, to get to that swing, Sheffield United have actually only lost once, to Boro last night, and they've knocked out 14 points in 7 at our magical 2 points per game rate. In short, the Blades have not dropped off, and the swing really can be put down to the extra game and the head-to-head victory this midweek. Boro are on an absolute hot streak going back to the start of November, trying to close down a gap on an incredibly consistent Sheffield United team who touched 2 points per game over nearly 60 games now, going back to Paul Heckingbottom's arrival in the winter of last season. Now, normally, when we get this one team chasing down the other narrative, we're looking at one team who's flying while the other one is wobbling. And as of right now, yes, Boro are flying, but I wouldn't say Sheffield United are wobbling. Could that change? Of course. Including yesterday's game, the Blades are currently on a run where they face the other 9 of the current top 10 across just 11 games, with 5 of their remaining 8 top 10 opponents all needing to be played away from Bramall Lane. In contrast, 6 of Boro's next 7 opponents are 12th placed currently or lower. I promise this is not hyperbole. The fixtures do give us the ingredients for a potential chase. The lower ranking team has a tad more momentum, and the team being hunted has, on paper, the harder run of fixtures. Will Boro keep winning? Well, I think they probably will, but 2 points per game would take them to just 82, and I think we'd all agree that that's probably, definitely, very likely not going to be enough. If Boro were to win 11 of their final 14, they'd land on 87 points. Now, that would really keep Sheffield United on their toes, but would also require Middlesbrough to have won 23 of their final 29 games this season. Extraordinarily high standards indeed. Unless Sheffield United are going to fall off. And that really seems to be the crux of the issue here, doesn't it? Will Sheffield United drop a level from where they've been for, frankly, 60 games? Given what happened during the first few months of the season, we know that even coming close to that 60-game output will very likely be enough for Sheffield United to hold off even the toughest of challenges. My take, for what it's worth, I'll be completely honest, I always am. I went into this recording writing down all the notes, expecting to say, look, it's too far to make up. Sheffield United too consistent. And I was all ready to reference exactly the same conversation we had at roughly this point last season, where Nottingham Forest were coming like an absolute train, and even though they were incredible for the final 3 quarters of the season, at that top end of the table, Bournemouth's head start left them just too fine a margin to be able to get past. I will say though that my mind did change a little bit when I looked ahead at the fixtures and just slightly put a little seed of doubt in my mind. This upcoming run of games, top 10 opponents for the Blades seemingly every other week. Yes, I have been sitting here saying that Sheffield United and Burnley have been a cut above everybody else. I do still believe that, and unless that changes, nothing's going to happen here. But you never know what happens if the pressure builds and the gap gets a little bit smaller and a little bit smaller. Who knows? Hey, maybe it might even have shrunk by the end of this weekend. That's quite enough from me. What is your take? Let me know down there in the comments. Does the result last night and the current direction of travel allow Boro to come into the conversation for automatic promotion? If the Championship promotion race maybe opened up a little bit last night, maybe the League One promotion race went a little bit the other way and closed up a bit on Tuesday night. Click up here to see my take on who's in pole position in the 3rd tier to come up to the Championship, with Plymouth and Sheffield Wednesday maybe doing some significant damage to their rivals so far during this week.